You ready? Okay. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. We'll go ahead and call the Western Municipal Water District Board of Directors meeting to order this morning. As a reminder, if you would all please put your phones on silent or stun, however you'd like to do that. I know it's time to get back into the routine of things. We're not sitting behind a computer screen anymore. Thank goodness. Amen. Okay, Madam Secretary, could we go ahead and read in our COVID protocols this morning and do our roll call, please?
Yes, thank you. Good morning. Pursuant to Western Municipal Water District Resolution 3196, in an effort to protect the public health, prevent the spread of COVID-19, and because state and local officials are recommending measures to promote social distancing, the public may view this board meeting online or virtually. The public may also attend the meeting in person. Masks will be required for members of the public who have not received the COVID-19 vaccination. The meeting is live streamed online at WMWD.com. As stated on the agenda, members of the public who wish to comment on any item within the jurisdiction of the district or any item on the agenda may make comments in person, virtually via Zoom, or by submitting comments on the district's website. Comments received on the district's website before 4:30 p.m. October 19th, 2021 will be made part of the board meeting record. For those participating in the Zoom virtual meeting who wish to provide public comments, please indicate such by using the raise hand feature, and we will call on you individually. You can access the raise hand feature by opening the participant list and clicking the raise hand button at the bottom of the list. For those participating by telephone who wish to provide public comment, you may do so by pressing *6 to unmute yourself. Phone callers can also press *9 to activate the raise hand feature. If there is more than one caller, you will be identified and called on one at a time. Any public comment will be limited to 3 minutes in duration. However, the presiding officer reserves the right to reduce the amount of time you will be allowed to speak to ensure that all members of the public have an opportunity to provide their comment. I will now take roll call for the meeting. Due to the complexity of conducting this meeting by Zoom and telephonically, I will not be taking roll call for staff members or the public at this time. Director Roten.
Good morning, I'm here.
Good morning. Director Rizvi.
Good morning, I'm here.
Good morning. Director Gardner.
Good morning, I'm present.
Good morning. Director Torres.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. President Denstedt.
Good morning. I am present. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you. President Denstedt, you do have a quorum today.
Thank you very much. Gosh, and hopefully we'll get to the end of having to read those COVID protocols at some point in time real soon. Okay, moving along to our Pledge of Allegiance. I understand we have another recording from one of our employees.
We have Stephanie Ober from our finance group today.
Fantastic. If everybody could join us, please, and stand for the pledge.
I'm Stephanie Ober. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And thank you so much to Stephanie for leading us in the pledge this morning. We certainly do appreciate that. Okay, moving right along in our agenda this morning, it's now the time for public comment. Public comment is for any member of the public who wishes to comment on any item which is not currently posted on our agenda for today's agenda, and under the jurisdiction of this district to be able to do something about. Madam Secretary, do we have anyone who's indicated they wish to speak under public comment today?
President Denstedt, I have no members in the audience. I see no hands raised. I did receive one public comment in writing before the deadline yesterday that is on the dais for each of the board members this morning and was sent to your emails. And I will ask at this point if there are any callers on the line that would wish to make a comment. Hearing none, the public comment period is closed.
Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on to presentations this morning. Mr. Miller.
Thank you very much. We do have a presentation this morning. With us today, we have Mitch Cochran, who is here from MESAC, and he will tell you all about what MESAC is and why he's here. But we're very happy he is here today. Mitch?
You bet.
Good morning.
Good morning, President Denstad, board members. My name is Mitch Cochran. I am the award chairman for MESAC. I've been IT director for 2 cities for over 25 years. So we're looking here, and today we're here to talk about the award for technology excellence. The Municipal Information Systems Association of California, statewide organization with membership exceeding 1,100 IT professionals representing over 400 cities and special districts. Association was founded in 1980 to promote more effective and efficient municipal government through cooperation among municipal IS professionals via 4 pillars of education, member resources, relationships, and advocacy. The Excellence in IT Practices program is one such resource. This is a certification program to foster and recognize outstanding governance and operation practices. It requires the submission of a detailed questionnaire that examines the practices across 10 key subject areas, plus proof that the practices are being performed. It can be a great deal of effort, but it provides the submitter with a complete audit of their operation. And the submission is evaluated, and feedback is given by 3 current IT directors across Southern California on membership. The directors then provide the feedback to the applicants, and applicants are evaluated in strategic planning and budget, purchasing, operations and staffing, customer performance management, internet, technology project management, professional development and training, disaster preparation recovery, security controls, audit compliance, regulatory, and GIS. The evaluation criteria is updated every year to meet and incorporate new standards and best practices, so applicants are held to the highest standards. And this year we had a major revision requiring a significant effort. This is a program that's similar for those that are familiar with the California Society of Municipal Finance Officers, or CSMO, for their annual CAFR program. But we're a little bit more stringent and focused on not only governments and operations, but also how IT impacts the entire organization. The evaluations are scored, and depending on their merit, receive 1 of 2 levels. The Achievement Award significance agency meets the standard best practices, while the much tougher to obtain Excellence Award signifies the agency's practices exceed the local government standards. And on behalf of the Municipal Information Systems Association California, it's my distinct pleasure to recognize Michael Moser, the IT manager, his staff, and present the Western Municipal Water District with the MESAC's Award for Excellence in IT, the highest level.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Do you have an acceptance speech?
I don't. I just have a couple comments. if
Okay,
it's
excellent.
It's okay.
And you may want to recognize an important dignitary that is also here in the audience today.
Maybe. I just want to say that this is Western's 7th overall and 3rd consecutive Excellence Award.
Awesome.
And so this is really an achievement of the entire Western team. It's not something that IT does in a vacuum. So I would like to thank the board, our general manager and his executive team, for all your leadership, direction, and support of our staff. Without that leadership, things like this just don't happen. Most importantly, I'd like to recognize my team. All of, I think, except one who's on vacation is here today to celebrate with us. It's their dedication and outstanding efforts day in and day out that really make this happen. So I owe a huge thanks to them. And finally, I would like to thank Mr. Greg Duker, who joined us today. He led this team right up until he started his new adventure in July. And this award reflects on Greg as much as it does on anyone here at Western. So thank you, Greg, and we look forward to continuing what you started.
Can we get the IT folks to please stand? Fantastic job, you guys. Thank you so much for all of the outstanding work you do to take care of our customers, our employees, and our district. Thank you. I don't know if I want to give Mr. Duker that much credit because he's like out of here. So he's already putting his feet up. He's enjoying his time off. See, so.
I've known Greg for about 20 years.
Outstanding job. This is really a bang-up way to start our morning. So thank you so much. We really appreciate you being here. We appreciate the due diligence of your organization and everything that you bring. And thank you for recognizing our staff for the outstanding work that they do every day. Thank you. Okay. Well, is that it? Is that just one award today?
Just one award today.
Okay. All right. Okay.
But it was a good one.
No, it definitely was. Thank you.
Excellent.
Okay, we'll go ahead with our district business then. Moving on to our consent calendar. Is there any board member who wishes to pull any item off of a consent calendar today? Any member of the public wishing to comment on any consent calendar item today?
I have a question.
Did you have something you wanted to pull?
No, but I wasn't sure on the minutes because I wasn't on the board if I need to abstain from the minutes.
That's a question for general counsel.
Right, so normally there wouldn't be any legal requirement to abstain, but if you did not attend, we can certainly note that abstention in the motion and the second and the vote if you wish to abstain on those minutes.
Okay, I was actually here, but I wasn't on the board.
Well, right.
Then I'm okay to,
Well,
Or-
yeah, so if you like, we can take a motion to approve the entire consent calendar and then have it noted that you abstain from those minutes.
all right. Yes, I'd like to do that.
Move to approve?
Okay.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to approve in a second. I just wanted to make sure we didn't have any public comment. Madam Secretary.
We do not.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll go ahead and call for the vote.
Thank you. Director Roten,
Yes.
Director Rizvi,
Yes.
Director Gardner,
Yes.
Director Torres,
Yes.
President Dinstead.
Yes.
The motion passes 5-0 with Director Roten abstaining on the minutes.
Perfect. Thank you. That's on 6A.
6A, correct.
Thank you. Okay, moving right along to our agenda today. Number 7, do we have anything to add to the agenda from general manager or legal counsel?
Nothing to add.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to our action agenda this morning. We'll kick it off with item 8A, the consideration of the award of the construction contract.
All right, thank you, President Denstead. Item 8A is to consider the award of a construction contract for Arlington DeSalter well rehabilitation. So Derek Kawai is here to give us the details on this action item.
Great, thank you very much. This item is for the award of a Public Works construction contract for a rehabilitation of well number 4, which is one of the 5 Arlington DeSalter wells. Rehabilitation includes brushing and baling and chemical treatment and other procedures to remove deposits that have accumulated on the well casing. This will restore the capacity to extract water from the groundwater basin. Staff publicly advertised the project for public bidding for a month and opened bids on August 26, 2021. The General Pump Company submitted the lowest bid at a cost of $304,100. The engineer's estimate was $315,000. The request is to, 1, adjust the project budget to $517,110 and award the construction contract to General Pump Company in the amount of $304,100 for the well rehabilitation. I note on the line, we should have Michael Garcia, who's here from General Pump Company, is available to answer questions, as well as myself. Now open this up to questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions from any member of the board? Okay, do we have any?
I move to approve.
Okay, let me get public comment. Hold
Okay.
on, hold your motion, just a second. I want to make sure. Do we have any member of the public who wishes to comment on this item?
I see no request to speak.
Okay, seeing no one in our audience today wishing to speak on this item. And did Mr. Garcia want to make a comment today?
Hi, everybody. This is Michael with General Pump. Just wanted to say thanks again for the consideration. We did perform a very similar project for you guys earlier in this year with really good success. We came in under the alongside the original budget and within the time frame required. So just looking forward again to another successful project with you guys.
Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Was there any questions or comments for Mr. Garcia? If not, I have one. Mr. Garcia, thank you so much for being here today. We really appreciate that. The only question that I had for you is, did you see any problems with the contract for any circumstances on your bid, because I'm your no change order girl.
Yeah, no, my aim is to keep you happy. Yeah, so I did not see any issues on there. And as I mentioned, we did do a project earlier, so we're very familiar with your guys' staff requirements and system setup. So I think we'll be pretty prepared for this one.
Great, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, and we look forward to moving forward on this. And I believe that there was a director wanting to make a motion.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion to approve by Director Risby and a second by Director Gardner. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Okay, we'll go ahead and call for the vote.
Thank you. Director Roten?
Yes.
Director Risby?
Yes.
Director Gardner?
Yes.
Director Torres?
Yes.
President Denstedt?
Yes.
Thank you. The motion passes 4-0.
Thank you very
5-0.
much.
Thank you, directors.
Thank you very much. And thank you to Mr. Garcia. We appreciate it, and congratulations on that award.
Thank you, everybody. You guys have a good day.
Thanks, you too. All right, moving on to 8B, consideration for Resolution 3186.
All right, thank you, President Denstead. This is adopting a resolution approving a water supply assessment. Mallory Gandara is here today to give us the details on this. It went to the engineering committee, so she'll summarize that today too. Mallory?
Sure. Hi, good morning, everyone. President Denstedt, would you like me to just give a verbal overview, or do you want me to go ahead and do the presentation that I provided at EOWR? Does the board have a preference?
Verbal's fine.
I think whatever you feel is necessary, but if there's public watching and we have members of the public online that are watching, they might want to see some of the presentation as well. So,
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Is it? Oh, it was only in the packet, so if we don't have.
I think we're okay.
Okay, we'll do
Thank
it.
you.
Okay. So as we mentioned here, this item is to approve a resolution 3186 to approve the water supply assessment for the Westmont Village Industrial Project. And so as part of this project, it's required under CEQA if it hits a certain criteria. And this project hit the criteria of being over 650,000 square feet of floor space. So that's what triggered the water supply assessment request. And we have 90 days to do that. And so that we're right in line with that timeline. The project is located just south of Van Buren, immediately south of the Ben Clark Training Center, and it's southwest of the General Old Golf Course, and it's just immediately adjacent to the Air Force Village West Alta Vita community. It is going to be over 2 project phases consisting of 4 buildings, and the total water demand is going to be 28.98 acre feet per year, and that's including landscaping and on-site indoor use. Okay, we're going on, and we looked at the 3 different scenarios in the water supply assessment, and what we found is that even on a multiple dry year scenario where there is a reduction in MWD allocation, and we would still be able to meet the demands of the project based on that, and we would still have excess supply even with meeting the demands of the project request. So to meet this 90-day timeline, we're bringing this to you today with a request to adopt Resolution 3186 and the associated WSA.
Thank you very much. Okay, any questions from any member of the board?
I do.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend the engineering committee, but this was a very thorough staff report, and I actually wanted to say how much I appreciated all the information about Western in it. It's like I'm going to be keeping this as a reference paper because it was really just great detail and great overview, so I thank you for that. I'm kind of curious, so I come from a city government background, and many times, like say when a CEQA document is required, the developer pays for that. So I was kind of curious because I didn't see anything specific in here and I might have missed it. Who pays to do this type of an in-depth assessment?
Good question. The developer does. We collect that upfront, and if there's anything remaining, we collect a deposit, and if there's anything remaining, we'll refund that back to them.
Okay, good. Then that's the same type thing. And I think that was, I didn't really have any specific, oh, at the very beginning, did you say because it was over 600,000 square feet, that's what triggered the requirement?
Correct.
Okay. All right, great. Yeah, I'm just trying to learn all those things. So I think that was it. Thank
Okay,
you so much.
Great, thanks.
And just as a point, hold on, Mallory, don't go away. Just as a point too, and thank you for those questions, Director, because that is very helpful, and it's very helpful for the public to understand, and probably some of your colleagues as well, because we haven't had a lot of these come up in recent years, certainly not during COVID. But development, just like at city government, development pays for development. Existing customers do not ever cover development costs. So we try to make sure that all comes out. So all deposits for any kind of engineering services, anytime Derek and his group get to work on projects, and that's exactly what happens. Developers put in deposits and they draw down off of that to cover the cost. So existing customers do not pay for that. Mallory, could you very briefly go over a couple of other triggers just as a means of what triggers a WSA?
Sure. So under Senate Bill 610, there are a list of triggers that would require a WSA. Some of them are, for this one example, floor space, sometimes hotel rooms, number of hotel rooms, or number of residential units. That's typically 500 that would trigger that. Sometimes it's number of employees. If I can recall off the top of my head, I believe if it's anything over 1,000 employees that are anticipated. And then I mentioned the residential units. So there's several key triggers. And if they hit one of them, that's required.
Okay. And I think you actually had that somewhere in the staff report, but I wasn't sure. When I heard you say the specific one that triggered it, I just want to make sure I heard that.
Sure.
And actually on page 6 of the report, it has that listing as well.
Okay. So, yeah, so it's good for that, because we haven't had a lot of these to come forward. On occasion, they have been. We had one that was very controversial years ago. That was for Liberty Quarry down in the Temecula area, and that had to do with more acre feet of usage and not the actual project size, the employees, any of those other triggers. It had to do with the amount of acre feet that they were requesting for that project for that, and it was hugely controversial. So it's always good to go over what it is.
Absolutely.
And they don't come around very often. So, but
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to learn more about Western. So, move to approve.
okay.
I'll second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Were there any comments, public comments, questions?
I see no requests.
Okay. All right, no further. We'll go ahead and call for the vote.
Thank you. Director Roten?
Yes.
Director Rizvi?
Yes.
Director Gardner?
Yes.
Director Torres?
Yes.
President Dinstead?
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to 8C for unclaimed money. Mr. Miller.
All right, this is item 8C. This is to authorize the transfer of roughly $68,000 in unclaimed monies to the Western General Fund. So we've gone out and looked for customers that we owed reimbursements to and exhausted our efforts to find them. Veronica Zhang is here, and she's going to present this on Zoom. Veronica?
Thank you. Yes, good morning, board and members of the public. I'm presenting the annual request to transfer unclaimed money from 2017 to the general fund. This money will be available for general use. This action is proposed when the monies have remained unclaimed on Western's book for a period of 3 years or more. As part of the due diligence, a notice to the public with the names and dollar amounts was placed in the press enterprise on June 14th and June 21st. When a check is returned as undeliverable or remain uncashed, research is performed to determine if the payee is a current customer of Western at a new address or known by our development service department. The customer service department calls, emails, sends letters, and searches the billing software database for updated customer information. And the development services department reviews the contact information from the original paperwork and a copy of the check deposit. The research continues by checking the developer's contractor, like checking Western's record for other temporary meter customer account, and searching the internet to obtain updated phone and address information. So, and also at the end, an additional staff review takes place before publishing the notice in the newspaper. So the Finance Committee reviewed and approved unclaimed money listing on August 16, 2021 to be presented to the board. However, Director Gardner recognized 3 names on the list and offered us information that staff was not aware of. So as a result, 2 of the checks have been reissued to new addresses, and 1 was applied as a credit to a customer's water account. So since the board letter was prepared and the agenda posted, we issued a 3rd uncashed check. The amount to be transferred to the general fund is now $64,257.11. So 64257.11. Please keep in mind that even after the board authorized the transfer of unclaimed money to our general fund, all monies remain available to be claimed and paid in the future to individuals or business to whom the money belongs. So we will still issue the check to the validated person as long as they come back to claim for it. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Okay, any questions from any member of the board?
Move to approve.
Excuse me. I do have a question. I find it hard to believe that we cannot find the Bechtel Corporation.
Oh, that one, we actually is the one that we issued a check also. $722.56 is no longer in the listing.
There you go.
Oh, okay. I thought I saw it on the list.
Nope.
Yeah, that list was done before the last check was issued.
Okay.
So
Great.
ever since then, it's done. Yeah.
Good. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any public comment on this item?
I see none.
Thank you very much. Okay, bring it
Move to
back up to the
approve.
board. I have a motion to approve
Second.
and a second. We'll go ahead and call for the vote.
Director Roten?
Yes.
Director Rizvi?
Yes.
Director Gardner?
Yes.
Director Torres?
Yes.
President Dinstead?
Yes,
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Veronica. Okay, moving on to 8D. This is a report. We had this as a topic of discussion at the last board meeting. This is for the report under the ethics policy for Director Torres. I have put forward the report with the recommendation, which I stated at the last board meeting, that going with our progressive discipline policy that Director Torres, this is her second FPPC occurrence, and the first one was no action, and so this one we're just going to, and I put in the report the importance for Director Torres, and I believe she accepted and understood that at the last meeting and made that statement and made that very clear. She understands the importance of what the FPPC is and has every intention to comply with those rules moving forward in the future, and that it would be my recommendation for this to just be that Director Torres understands that what she's supposed to do with the FPPC and what those rules are for, and that she's going to comply with those. So that would be my recommendation, and I'm happy to take any statement that Director Torres would like to make on this issue.
No statement. I made it last time.
Okay, thank you. So is there any other comment from any other board member on this issue? Questions?
I don't have a comment or questions at this point. I do think we want to double check whether there is public comment.
Yes.
Then we need to move on.
Absolutely. Madam Secretary, is there anyone who wishes to speak under public comment on this item?
I have no request to speak at this time.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, so that is my recommendation. I will go ahead, if that is the direction of General Counsel, that this is coming from the board president to make the report and the motion. Is that my understanding, Mr. Ferre?
Yes, Madam President, your requested or your recommendation for a formal reprimand starts on the bottom of page 3 and goes to page 4, so it would need a motion approved by the board.
Okay, thank you very much. That would be my recommendation, folks, is that we just stick with the reprimand on this and we put this to rest.
Madam Chair, is that a motion?
Yes.
Okay. I will second the motion. Regretfully, I'm sorry that we're here, but I do think it's important for two reasons. First is we do need to do our absolute best to always follow the rules. And this was a second error dealing with the same agency. And importantly, this is the least of the correction actions that our board could take. And I don't think the mistakes, I believe they were truly mistakes, not anything intentional or any effort to hide anything. It's not egregious, and I think a reprimand is an appropriate action.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other comments? Okay. Madam Secretary, we'll go ahead and call for the vote.
Director Roten?
Yes.
Director Rizvi?
No.
Director Gardner?
Yes.
Director Torres?
No.
President Dinstead?
Yes.
The motion carries 3-2 with Director Rizvi and Director Torres voting no.
Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on to reports on our agenda, folks. Staff report from General Counsel.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. At your request, I developed a summary of SB 323 in writing and put it at the dais for all members of the board. This had to do with a new statute of limitations effective January 1 on any challenges to rates and charges. One of the other major pieces of legislation that was adopted had to do with the proper labeling of disposable wipes. As we know, disposable wipes can cause a lot of problem to the wastewater systems. And this bill, AB 818, requires that any non-woven disposable wipes manufactured on or after July 1st, 2022 must be labeled and clearly conspicuously with the phrase "do not flush" and with a related symbol as such. It includes some penalties for manufacturers that don't have that particular labeling, as well as a new outreach program for the manufacturers to work together with the state to find out how best to approach this going forward. So that was a major piece of a major bill that a lot of wastewater agencies were pushing for, and I think that is what I'd like to report on today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions for legal counsel? Okay, seeing none, move on to the general manager reports.
Thank you. I've got several reports today. The first one is our required update on COVID-19. So we did have one case in October. That employee is doing fine. We did have a few cases in September. Those employees are all back to work and doing fine, so that's great news. Our arrearage totals went up just a little bit, so that is up near $700,000. Staff is working really hard. We're going to be sending our data into the state for the arrearage program. So we are hoping to get that money hopefully by November. So that is really good news for our customers. The big news yesterday was the governor's extending the emergency drought declaration to include all 58 counties. So if you'll recall, it was 50 of 58 Southern California counties were not part of the emergency declaration. So yesterday he did include the other counties in Southern California and requested a redoubling of the efforts to conserve water throughout the state. I think he's doing that because the request to voluntarily conserve 15% has not produced 15% of conservation. For us, it's produced about 6% of conservation. Now, there's a really good reason for that. It's not that I don't think our customers don't want to conserve, but we have been pushing our customers to conserve for the last 10 years, and we're seeing a hardening of demands, and so that is a challenge to, and that 15% is based on 2020 water consumption. So we conserve to get to the 2020 numbers, so it's very difficult to get more conservation out. But we are responding, we are going to up our communications outreach. I've talked to Sarah this morning. How are we going to react to this? Because we want to make sure that we're using the publicity that the governor's generated yesterday so that we can do our press releases and ask our customers to redouble their efforts. You'll recall our drought messaging campaign. We were at Keep It Up. We're going to move to Step It Up now. The next phase would be Cut It Back, and that's where we'll go if it continues to be dry, and we'll evaluate that in January. It has been wet in Northern California. I think they have a forecast for a week of rain in rain and snow.
And snow.
In Northern California, which is great news. I think what the governor is reacting to and what Metropolitan is concerned about is a 0% allocation. And Department of Water Resources has already told Metropolitan they will have a 0% allocation. So that will probably happen in December. The problem for Metropolitan under a 0% allocation, because remember I've been telling you, Metropolitan has 3 million acre feet in storage for all of us to use as the Met family. The problem with that is that when the state goes to a 0 allocation, that means we get no state project water. There are Met member agencies that are exclusive state water project customers. So even though they're in the Met family, they have this water conserved, but they don't have the plumbing to get a lot of that water. So Callegas, Las Virgenes, actually even IEUA is an exclusive state water project customer. So when they go to 0, that means that in the Met family, they have several agencies that theoretically can't get water. Now, Metropolitan is doing a huge amount of work to try and change the plumbing, but what they also have at their disposal is they have these emergency storage accounts that they will tap into to get some water flowing to those agencies. So IUA is very fortunate because they're in the Chino Basin. They've got lots of groundwater. I've actually reached out to IUA and talked to them about potentially shifting our CDA water around so that can help IUA, so IUA doesn't have to take any of this emergency supply from Met, save that emergency supply for Callegas and Las Virgenes and others that don't have alternatives. So the water managers will all work together collaboratively with Metropolitan to try and keep the Met family in water. No one wants to see anybody out of water. So there's a lot of work that's going to be going on. So the question then is, what's the next level? Does the governor go to a mandated conservation level? And that's what our concern is. What we're pushing for is that we all have water shortage contingency plans, and what we'd like to see the governor do is leverage those. And those are unique to our own service area. So we are already in stage 2 of our water shortage contingency plan. So that calls for a reduction of anywhere from 5 to 14%. So if it's appropriate, I will come back to the board with a request to go to stage 3. We don't see that as necessary right now, but if it continues to be dry in Northern California, we don't see the rains panning out this winter, that is a step that we would have an option to make. And what that would do would be to actually reduce our customers' water budgets and make a financial incentive for all of our customers to cut back. But right now, we don't feel the need to do that. We're going to step up the outreach campaign. We already had a campaign planned to hit in the next couple weeks, really asking our customers and informing our customers that just in our normal process with our water budget process and our rates process, we need everyone to cut back in the winter because you have less water in your budget. So what we're going to ask is that they actually do that earlier. So we're going to ask them to start cutting back their outdoor irrigation right now instead of doing that in November. Try and get some more conservation out of our customers. It's good for them too, because that keeps them within budget and saves them money. So we hope that that message is well accepted. So that's kind of the update. Be happy to hear the board's input on any of those issues before I move on to the next topic.
Questions?
Okay.
Now, I did see a news report, a blip on the news this morning. The governor was talking about the counties south here that involved us this morning. So there might be something coming out later today or has already hit. So
Yeah, we're just watching like you are.
yeah.
So
I think that was the topic of conversation, that the 15% is now going to be hit. Extended, yeah, exactly. Extended down to all of the south, the 5 or 6 counties I think they mentioned this morning. I don't know if it was all 8, but
it is. It's all 8, and it's still voluntary, which is good. And there's been a lot of work with the governor's office and with the state board that one size doesn't fit all, and a mandatory 15% cutback doesn't do much for the state for a lot of these agencies that are in our service area that have a lot of groundwater.
right.
So by cutting back demands, you're not really saving the state system any water. You're just kind of creating a hardship for the groundwater agencies. And the other side of the story is that our customers have been investing in storage, in dry year storage for exactly this event. And so we want to be careful to message that because they've invested a lot of money through the rates that they pay to build that 3 million acre feet in storage. The difficult thing is the zero allocation out of the state. That puts some entities in a difficult spot. So hopefully it's wet. Hopefully Department of Water Resources changes their mind and sticks with a 5% allocation to start the year rather than going to 0. That would be very beneficial for Metropolitan, but we'll just have to see how it plays out.
No, and you're correct with the weather too. There's been a little bit of a shift up there, up north, and I think, ladies, we just escaped a snowstorm when we left Tahoe. Because I think it hit a couple of days later, so we were very lucky. But no, I heard, I think it was yesterday at the meeting, we heard 4 inches from Truckee.
Yeah.
Fell at Truckee, so that's, hey, every little bit helps, right? Every little bit helps.
That's right.
Okay.
Moving on to some board scheduling items. We are going to schedule a board workshop for October 27th. And in that, it'll be in closed session. We're going to update the board because we've got several new board members that don't have any background on some of these litigation issues. So that'll be a general update on litigation activities that involve Western. Secondly, we have tentatively a board meeting scheduled for the first Wednesday in December, which is December 1st. I anticipate that a majority of our board members are going to be at the Aqua Conference that week in Pasadena. So I would suggest, it's totally up to the board, but I would suggest that we may want to cancel that meeting since you'll all be up at Aqua.
So let's go ahead and take a temperature. Is everybody going to Aqua?
Sorry, which, in December, right?
December.
December
The Aqua
1st.
Conference. Yeah.
It's that whole week of December.
Right. Everybody going?
Yes.
So it sounds like if you're going to be here to hold a board meeting, you're going to be doing it all by yourself.
I'm going to be at Aqua also.
Okay, so it sounds like that meeting will be canceled then.
But because we know that you value your time as a board together, we would like to schedule a board meeting for December 8th.
Okay.
That sounds
And
good.
on December 8th, I would like to present our strategic priorities for the next 3-year period and get the board's input on those strategic priorities.
It's already on my calendar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were sent out.
Yeah, it was sent out.
Yes, Judy.
Thank you, Tammy.
He's asking for forgiveness.
You're
not asking for
Tentatively,
I
in
am
anticipation.
more than happy to not have that if the board doesn't want to be here for that. This is all up to you.
No, we would love to be there.
Yeah,
Our
that's critical
calendars are
stuff.
difficult, so we
Yeah.
try and start planning this way ahead of time.
No.
Absolutely.
And
It's
then
good.
there is another planning activity that Tammy will be reaching out to you for some leadership training with the board. So we need to schedule a couple of days for that too. So
Okay.
that's still coming your way, just FYI.
Absolutely.
Right, which we've been waiting for
Right.
a lot of
And
months.
the dates are still to be determined.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
That concludes my report.
That's it? Okay. All right. Any questions for Mr. Miller? Okay, moving on to our director reports. SAPA.
Thank you. SAPA took 3 actions at their meeting yesterday. The first was to adopt a resolution to implement AB 361 like all of our agencies have. That allows the continuation of remote or hybrid meetings as long as there is a state-declared emergency. They did have a little different twist than I've heard other places. It's their belief that that resolution must be readopted on a monthly basis. And I just had not focused on that previously. And they highlighted.
And I'm sorry, Director Gardner, that's what we're doing here.
Good.
Yes.
That's,
So I figured if it was a requirement, we would be doing that.
Yeah. We're doing it, Matt's
Yeah.
doing it.
Mike just likes to bring it up just in case.
Yeah. The other point that was issued, and we had minor discussion of it, but if our remote capability, if Zoom is down, and the public is unable to participate, then we cannot take actions.
Right.
Any board cannot take an action under.
That's the law.
Yeah, so that was interesting. The other 2 things they did is they adopted revised criteria for ranking applications and awarding grants under Proposition 1 Integrated Regional Water Management Funds. They had done round 1 previously with 1 set of criteria. They've amended the criteria. Probably the biggest change is they have added some emphasis and some bonus points if your project that you are applying for involves a Native American tribe, a nonprofit, or a non-governmental organization. Those did not get bonus points in round 1. They will in round 2. And the last thing they did was authorize the GM to sign a contract for environmental review of a cloud seeding demonstration program that SAPA is looking at doing in our local mountains. If it's successful, they calculate that it will produce a substantial amount of additional precipitation, whether in the form of rain or snowfall. It's
What's substantial?
trying to remember the numbers. It's thousands of acre feet.
8,000.
It's not substantial.
Yeah, no, it's,
But,
well, it's
yeah.
worth having. The question is how much of that actually makes it,
What
to
makes it
water
down,
distribution
and
agencies.
is it worth the potential harm to the environment?
yes. And that's something that the environmental review will help document. The SAPA member agencies are not uniform in their support of this concept. I'm not convinced that it's going to do what they think it will do in our climate.
Yeah, no, not in our climate.
And the San Bernardino Valley Water Agency doesn't have any belief in it at all.
Because it's magical, that's why.
But,
We just don't have clouds. You can't make clouds.
no, but you can,
It's not gonna happen.
you can squeeze some more water out of clouds that are here. But has its own set of issues, so SWAMPA will be beginning to analyze those issues. The expenditure thus far is up to $67,000 for the environmental work.
For the study.
The actual acquisition and operation of the equipment, if it gets that far, goes up over 6 figures, or 7 figures pretty quickly. So we'll see where that goes. That's a ways down the road.
Wow.
Yep.
And
No,
that was it for SWAMPA?
I had hesitation about the program as well when we first started talking about it, going, okay, how do you pay for something that you can't guarantee we're going to get a return off of? How do we cloud seed and then it goes to Arizona? It drops rain in Arizona. I mean, just as a point in stake. And then the other thing is what is our defensible position should it be wholly successful and we hit the Apple fire burn scar and cause whole other issue. So, more to come. Yeah, well, yeah, I think Mike is doing the exact good thing and asking the right questions, and I think, we dabble in it a little bit and ask for more information on the study, so I think you're doing a great job over there.
Thank you. And that's it for SWAMPA.
Okay. Met, I think the general manager gave a huge overview on Met activities, so with some of the things, but I will let everyone know that the board over at Metropolitan did approve the naming of the overlook for Lake Matthews in honor of Don Galliano. So we will keep you posted. We'll be coordinating with Metropolitan for an event on that when it's all unveiled and when they're ready to move on that issue. And then Gloria Gray, the chairwoman, is also looking at doing some positioning and some committee appointments for chairs and vice chairs to commence here shortly. So we're looking forward to that. I think the workshop has helped with the Met retreat and some of the communication skills and some of the things that took place to hopefully push some of those things forward. So that's all good stuff. Okay? All right, so we've got Chino Basin, Watermaster.
They meet next week.
Okay, and Chino DeSalter.
Sorry, yes. You have the packet in front of you, but very short board meeting. We approved, they also did the 361. So I, as of now, I think we're going to keep our board meetings remote, which is great because that is a long drive. And then an agreement with Hazen and Zoyer for the dashboards, dynamic dashboards. So, very short.
Okay, thank you. RCRA.
Next month.
Okay. WRCOG meeting, next meeting. And Sarah.
So we had a board meeting before the grand opening of the rehab project. Thank you all for joining us for that project. I'm going to give you the points for the meeting, and then we'll go over the event. So we approved the annual audited financial statements that was done by an outside firm. That was an unmodified opinion from the authority's auditor, and we approved that. There was an audit adjustment for $4 million in debt forgiveness. That was a state awarded for the plant rehabilitation project. So that was recorded as an income as of June 30th, 2021, and then we were gonna give the 3 agencies money back, and Western is the amount due for Western is $46,898. And then we approved these payments, and then there was another action item to approve a payment of Rancho California Water District for $336,000 as noted for its excess of administrative fees. So we approved that. And then the rest was regular treasury reports and financial reports for the year.
Okay.
So that was the meeting. And then we had the opening of the rehabilitation project. And I would like our president, who's been a very integral part of it, to talk about that project.
Oh, thank you. You know, that was a hugely successful partnership. We really made correct decisions in this board coming forward and making the decisions that we did at the time when we had options open to us to either join with Eastern's plant and go down the road by about a half a mile as the crow flies, or join in and continue to rehab this plant. And with 2 plane tickets and 2 trips up to Sacramento with our hands out to ask for some money, that really came to fruition, and it saved our customers collectively $22 million. That is absolutely unheard of for a public project to come back with those kinds of returns on it to a benefit for our customers. So I think we had a fabulous turnout. I certainly appreciate your continued work down there and carrying it forward. So I expect you to now save like $24 million on the next one. Just saying, the bar is kind of high. So, you know, but thank you to all of my colleagues down there. This was really near and dear to my heart when this stood up after such a long, long time of discussing and doing feasibility studies and trying to make sure that we were making the correct decisions to take care of our customers here at Western. And I think it really strengthened our partnerships with our other agencies, with Rancho California Water District, who is the administrator for us down there on that, and with Elsinore Valley. So, and I think we had a fabulous turnout from the public and a lot of dignitaries that came. Congressman Calvert was there and spoke. That was really very gracious of him to do that. He's been a very huge advocate, and I loved his one statement that he said: stop calling it wastewater because we don't waste any water. So that's a powerful message to be sending to people. We try to reuse and recycle and move it around. So that's good stuff. And thank you to the city of Marietta as well. The mayor came down there and made a couple of comments, and to our assembly person, Kelly Ciartu, who was also there. So I think it was a fabulous event, and I think the tour was really well received by people too. They really got to see where their money was well spent. So, but thank you, Director Risby. Okay.
Thank you, and that's about my reports.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to director's comments. Director Risby, anything else?
I'm good.
Okay, Director Roughton, anything?
Oops. Just a couple short comments. I had the opportunity to attend both the Eastville and Norco State of the City addresses. I'm trying to do my outreach to getting to know those cities in my division a little bit better. And it's so interesting how each city has its own personality, and it's so reflected in their state of the cities. And it was really fun to see that. Both of them were just wonderful in their own way, you know, for their folks. And I was able to log on to the Master Gardener Western presentation drought status for landscapes, and Celeste Cantu was the main speaker on that, and that was very enjoyable. I'm going to try not to miss any of those because they're very informative and they're fun, and it's nice to learn the new things and about all different topics. I believe the next one is about pollinators, which sounds different, considering I'm scared to death of bees. But we'll see. Hopefully I can make that one. So that was it.
Okay, great, thank you. Director Gardner, any comments today?
Yeah, I would like to ask if we could adjourn the meeting in recognition and memory of Art Littleworth, who passed away yesterday.
Oh, God, I didn't hear that.
He was a giant of a man in many ways. One of the best-known water attorneys around, a major player in the 1969 settlement of the San Bernardino area basins, which affect Riverside significantly and indirectly us, because we buy some excess water from Riverside, from those basins. He, as an attorney, argued, I believe, 7 cases before the Supreme Court. It's rare for an attorney to get to argue 1, and 7 is a whole bunch. He was asked by the Supreme Court to serve as a special master in negotiating water issues between some Midwestern states, a real honor. And what he's probably best known for locally is he led the effort to voluntarily desegregate Riverside schools. Riverside was the first school district in the nation to voluntarily desegregate, and that was Art's doing. And he also played a major role in the preservation of Mission Inn. There was a strong move amongst elected officials to knock that ugly old thing down and put in a surface parking lot because they needed one.
Wow.
And he led the effort to keep that from happening, and it is today what it is, largely because of Art. So.
Wow.
Yes. Thanks for those comments, Director Carter.
Yeah, that, I had the pleasure of meeting him years ago when he came to the other building, when we were in Alessandro, and phenomenal individual for the water community. So perhaps we could put together something if he's going to have a public memorial of some type, or we could send something to his family honoring him for his commitment to water, to the industry.
And too many years working for Western.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Advocating for Western.
Absolutely. So perhaps we could come up with a reso or something on our next. I believe the board would be supportive of that, to move that forward. So I'm sad to hear his passing, and I had not heard that. So,
Thank you.
Director Torres.
Hi, yes, I have, I just want to, first, well, they're gone, but thank the IT staff and congratulations on their award today, the recognition. I wanted to see, I recently spoke to General Manager about a few text messages I got on the flume water, I think it's the flume water system, the detection system. Wondering if we could, get an update or a presentation on updates on that, just because I know it has benefited one ratepayer who went on it their own and bought the system I think JCSD has, and just wanted to get an update maybe at the next board meeting as a quick presentation on that system and what Western's doing to use it or mimic it. Also, I know I had brought up before overwatering, where customers could go report when they see overwatering happening wherever. Things have been very busy, so I know that's probably why we haven't had that come as a presentation, but same thing, something where we can let the public know what they can do when they see overwatering. Especially when we don't have that jurisdiction, it's good to at least give them the information. And that's it. That's all I have. Happy Halloween, everyone.
Okay, thank you very much. Just a couple of quick comments. I did attend 2 different chamber breakfasts. I went to the chamber down in Marietta, and then I went to Corona. Director Rizvi was also there, and we got a legislative update on the federal side from Congressman Calvert, which is always nice to hear about what's going on down in Washington, D.C. It's very complicated, and a lot of things are moving right now, and they're still dealing with that continuing resolution and trying to get funding passed and do all the kinds of other things that are really important for us as far as the Inland Empire is concerned, for water and for a lot of the programs and grants and funding opportunities that we look forward to utilizing. I also spoke at the city of Marietta last night and wanted to go and thank the mayor for coming to Syrah and to talk about that project and its ultimate success. So they were very happy about hearing all that, and I got a couple of comments actually as I was leaving the room from the residents saying, wow, you saved us money. So yes, that's what we try to do. That is our ultimate goal, yes. And along with my colleagues, I attended the legislative update from the chamber that the Attorney General came down and was the keynote speaker of that in Riverside here this last week. So always good to hear from our state folks as to what's going on and some of the things they're looking at and the challenges that they face and what they're trying to do. So really appreciate those updates and the chamber bringing such a prestigious speaker forward. So it was nice to hear him talk and tell a little bit more about his history and his background and where he came from, and a nice story about a Filipino. So anyway, all right, any other, I've heard Director Torres kind of snuck in future requests for items under comments. So yes, yeah, I noticed. Anybody else? Okay. We have informational items that you can review at your leisure. We do have, I believe, a closed session item. Mr. Ferre.
Yes, Madam President, we'd recommend going to closed session under 54957, regard to threat to public services or facilities at this time.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll go ahead and go into closed session.
All right, we'll start that at 10:45. We need to bring Zoom people in for the meeting.
Oh, okay, perfect.
You have 5 minutes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
10 minutes.
Yeah, well, not quite, but ish.
Ish.
We need Director Gardner and.
It was live and video is live again. Hey, Steve, can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear, Spence.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
My mic on. Okay, thank you, everyone. We are back from closed session. We have all members of the board present at the dais, and we'll go ahead and allow legal counsel to please report out from closed session.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. The board met in closed session under 54957, 11A, item 11A, and there was no reportable action.
Thank you very much. Is there any business left pending before us today that I have missed? Nope. Are we good? And I believe we had a request to adjourn the meeting in honor of Art Littleworth, who has contributed so much to not just this agency, but to the water community as a whole as a outstanding steward and legal representative. So
Thank you
we
for
will do
doing
that in his honor. Thank you, everybody, for your attendance today. We are adjourned.